Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. We are live and direct on the set of Adam Bergman's Money Makers. Today, I want to talk about an amazing company. I hold over six figures in this company. It might be a boring company to some people, but I do consider this company right along the side of a Tesla. I think this is probably going to be the next $1 trillion company. The company that I'm talking about is called Nvidia, ticker symbol NVDA. It's an extremely robust ecosystem in what it does, and a lot of people might misunderstand it, or maybe some people just think that it's boring, but there is one thing that is 100% undeniable, and that is that this Nvidia stock has been in an absolute rocket ship going up. And what they have is something called pricing power, which means as supply chains decrease, which means that the increase in price goes up, you got to keep charging more and more money because there is an increase in demand, but there is a decrease in supply, which means at one point, usually people are not willing to spend that money. However, when it comes to Nvidia that does the best processing chips, period, the computer you're using right now, if it's any good, is using an Nvidia chip. If it's garbage, then it's using the competition's. And that's a fact, Adam. Nvidia has so much room to grow because as much as they raise their prices, and they will be raising their prices, they have pricing power, which means the consumer will keep buying. The consumer might go without a lot of things, but the consumer will not go without a high-powered computer, especially in today's day and age, which is pretty funny because the exact market that set up this supply constraints is the same market that has increased demand for using a computer. Why? Everything after the pandemic is stay at home, work from home, so on and so forth. Now, if you're a worker from home, whether you're an independent worker or you're working for a company, you need the best product in front of you so that you could be as productive as possible working away from the office. And how do you do that? You get the best computer possible. Now, Nvidia just had its Investors Day, which they do once a year, and they basically talk about forward movement, so on and so forth. And in this Investors Day, they said something that was really remarkable, and they went over exactly what their company covers. Now, their company is not just a simple computer company. They are expanding tremendously into a lot of different markets, and it's a small kind of technology ETF, so to speak. They said that the total market that they're going after is a $100 trillion total addressable market. They foresee themselves as getting 1% of that market, which means that they have a total addressable market of $1 trillion. Just to give you some context, in their last quarterly results, they came in just over $7 billion of revenue. Let's times that times 4. You get a number of around $28 billion. If you divide 1 trillion by 28 billion, you have around a 30 or 40 growth rate. So the question is, can Nvidia grow 30 to 40 times, or am I oversimplifying this? Well, I'm definitely oversimplifying this. And at a current market cap of around $580 billion, even if they 5x or even if they 10x, that is massive amounts of room to grow. However, they need to grow up into this role. They need to be able to acquire that TAM, which means they have a large growth opportunity. And that's what they're basically saying, that we can go after this market. Now, give me a moment, and I'm going to break down all of these markets and break down what they see in each of these markets that they can actually go after. But it's very clear to see, at least in my eyes, that Nvidia has a huge opportunity to keep growing. With Nvidia, they are ahead of the market, which means everybody else is catching up to them. AMD is catching up to them. Intel is catching up to them. They are ahead of the pack. Nobody is on their level. However, they're doing a lot of things that other companies are not. They actually remind me a little bit of Palantir because they do something called a digital twin. And we all know that Palantir has oncology with digital twins. That's what makes Palantir so successful. And I believe that this is a huge opportunity for Nvidia to get bigger, and bring more value to its investors. This slide is from their Investors Day 2022. You see this $1 trillion opportunity. Nvidia full stack platform serving 100 trillion of industries, which means they're going after that 1% that I was talking about. Full stack platform. What does full stack mean? That through the beginning, from A to Z, they are involved in every single facet, and that's why they can get so much more money and such a big total addressable market. Gaming is a $100 billion market. Nvidia AI software, $150 billion market. Omniverse enterprise software, $150 billion market. That's that digital twin that I was talking about. Automotive, a $300 billion market. Chips and systems, a $300 billion market. I believe that there is also an expanding market when it comes to space exploration, which is a brand new field that everyone is just getting into. So all of this together gives them this $1 trillion platform. When it comes to AI, in the presentation they were saying, listen, AI is not just software or hardware. It's both hardware and software, and Nvidia can capitalize in both of those fields. This is Nvidia's chart for the last 5 years. As you can see, right around when this pandemic started, right around that 2020, it was at $50. It skyrocketed to $330. Giving it around that 6.5x. It now recovered to around that $231 mark. Now, a lot of people think that there's going to be a chip shortage or a decreased demand for chips, and they were actually downgraded along with AMD. However, I don't see that happening. As I said, it's called pricing power, which means no matter what, people will need these chips. The demand for chips will not decrease. The demand for chips will increase. Specifically, Nvidia's chips that absolutely smoke the competition. In today's day, everything is evolving literally by the second. You need the absolute top-of-the-line technology to compete against one another. All the top developers, all the top companies in all those industries that I was just talking about is going to be fighting to use Nvidia chips. And Nvidia chips are absolutely used in all Bitcoin miners. As I said before, if you don't have an Nvidia chip, you're not really working with anything, and your setup is absolutely garbage. For all these reasons, I hold Nvidia. I love Nvidia. Nothing I say is financial advice. Everything I do say is entertainment and education purposes only. Nvidia also gives you a very nominal distribution, which is good. However, I think the real value in Nvidia is the growing market and the ever-expanding TAM that they have. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me the likes, please give me the shares, please give me the subscribe. I know a lot of people are not feeling Nvidia. They might think that it's boring, and they might think that it's already too big of a company. However, I do compare it to Tesla, and I believe that it has so much room to grow. Nvidia is an absolute monster, and they do have a moat around them. It's also one of my 4 must-have stocks in your stock portfolio. I do have a video about that I made around a week ago. Thank you once again, and I wish everybody a happy Sunday.